Most countries on Earth have an El Dorado, a place where great fortunes have been won and lives lost. For 160 years, people have tried to win a fortune in this little creek. Some have found huge nuggets, while others have lost their lives. It's been explored, tested, panned, sluiced and dredged and done to death by some of the finest men and well-capitalised companies for a long time. Is there any gold left? We'll see. This is the Rocky River.
In 1871, James Philosopher Smith discovered payable tin at the Mount Bischoff area. Within 30 years it was in full production, but his finds stimulated exploration into the west coast of Tasmania. Without him, a lot of people wouldn't have got rich, and we wouldn't have motivation to go into these beautiful forests today and see if we can't scratch out a colour. He was an extraordinary man. The blokes that came after Smith were the Meredith brothers. George and his brother Owen. In 1876 they went into the Meredith Range, and they were the first in there with Charles Sprent to cut tracks and test the creeks and see exactly what was there. Up to that point it was fairly much unknown. This is James Mcginty. He's the discoverer of the two big nuggets. 7.6 kilos and 4.4. He went on to mine and sell, one of the first to sell osmiridium, which was used for many things. But yeah, very successful prospector back in the day. So these are the Mcginty Nuggets that were found up the Rocky River, which is where we're heading in shortly. The big one is 243 ounces, 7.6 kilos, and the small one was 170 something ounces. It was 4.4 kilos. It's a tricky river to get to. You can't drive to it anymore. You used to be able to. I've been there 7 or 8 times. I've been flooded out. I've crossed the White River and gone to come back a couple of hours later and it was a metre higher, so I had to wait. There is an aerial ropeway that you can climb across, but you want to be bloody strong to do that. It's all seized up, fairly rotten. Yeah, we'll see how we go. Could be an interesting trip. And this is the area where the big nugget was found, the two big nuggets. This is the White River. And this is the Rocky River. And about here is where the big nugget was found. That's where we're going. Up here, the Rocky River Copper Mining Company put a tunnel through and diverted 1,200 metres of the river. Just put it into some scale. When they mined this part of the river, they got 28 ounces. A few years after that, they put the dredge in about here, and they tried to dredge this section of the river, and it was a colossal blunder. And this is the dredge they dragged down the track to get into the Rocky River and White River area. It was a single bucket line dredge, so it couldn't work to the banks. It could only work a strip down the centre of the river. And once they spent 2 years building it and getting it to work, they had to wait 2 months for it to flood enough for them to actually have enough water to float the thing. And they worked it for 2 seasons, and 128 ounces I think is all it got. So it was a failure. This dredge ended up on the east coast, tin fields, and there's still parts of it there today. If you know where to look, you can find some of it. Yeah, they were some brave men. This is one of the rarest books I've ever found. It's from 1966. It's the Department of Mines Geological survey book of the area. And it's all the maps, all the drill samples for the whole area, from Savage River right through to Long Plains, Savage River North, all the testing, all the magnetic surveys, everything. I've studied it. I've studied it and studied it, and yeah, in my head I know the area well. I know the target zones. I know where I need to be, and the pan won't lie. It never does.
And here we are at the White River. There's Tim crossing it. What are you standing in? Yep. Just standing here at the Rocky River mine. This is the tunnel they dug to divert the White River so that they could dredge it for gold. And when they diverted it and dredged it, they ended up getting about 120 ounces out of the riverbed. It didn't justify the cost that it was to build it. This is amazing. What's in there, Jack? How big? Nice. Here we are at the Rocky River. There's Uncle D. Woohoo! There's the Tim. Hey! And there's the White River just over his shoulder there, flowing on past. We're about 100 metres up the Rocky. It's time to pan some gold. Old Added, up here, right up here on the ridge. Well, shaft, not an adit. Just wonder how deep that goes. Nearly fell down, that bastard. Goes in there for a mile. That is boiling. This river comes up and down so quick. I've been in here a few times now, and it just floods in a heartbeat. The boys are well down there. I'm just going to do a few test pans in amongst the granite here. This place is awesome. This place is awesome. Oh. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, look at that. You can see the gold in it. I know the light's a bit crap here. Oh, look at that one. I've got to come back here with a detector. I found that too. Look at that. There's heaps here. There's a bit of pyrite in amongst it too. Look at that. That's awesome. That's awesome. Oh, I've got to finish panning. And we are well up that creek where the Mcginty Nugget was found. And I mean, there's holes like this everywhere, you know, just test holes, metre or so around, metre or so deep. the trees. Phenomenal. But it's steep ground. It's bloody steep ground. You look how thick the bush is up here. It's a long way up into the top. And I'm nowhere near the top. Because we stuffed before, we walked to the top following the old road. And it just led to a dead end right on top of the Meredith Range. So, big walk back down. Yeah, there's gold here. The boys are going to be stoked. Awesome. For as good as the colour is, I don't recommend people coming in here. Like, we've been at this all day from real early. And it's just treacherous ground. Like, it's steep. The White River's particularly nasty, and it can flood in a flash. It's like 120 k's long, so it can be sunny where we are and raining well down there, and it comes up. We were lucky today when we crossed it, as you can see from the footage, like it's only sort of knee deep. But oh, that's a big hole. But yeah, like, it's wicked. This place is wicked. But this little creek that runs into it, like, that's cranking. It's got plenty of water in it. And the Rocky itself, it's rad. This place is wild. Back, it's time to go back. The track in here is rough. It's amazingly rough. We took like lots of wrong turns, and the only thing that guided our way in here was a bit of pink tape from where it's obviously been surveyed in the 80s. And it's steep, it's so steep. You get down into the Rocky itself and it is just cliffs either side, and it flash floods. It's an amazing place. I can't wait to get home though and see how much gold we ended up with. You can get a beer, hanging for a beer. We've got about a 3-hour walk out of here yet. Plus we've got to cross the right. The boys are down here. I'm going to catch up. We'll see you all at home. And these are some of the samples I got from the trip. We've got all the silver lead and magnetite pieces here. This one's interesting because it's got a little bit of everything. There's a little bit of gold in there, not much, just a speckle. To look at it, it just looks like normal rock. Till you crack them open, you don't see anything. Beautiful samples. Pyrite. This one has got ironstone. This is the host rock. A little bit of gold through it as well. And then this beautiful sample here of quartz with gold through it. That has not travelled far. That's broke off the reef. So yeah, awesome day. Awesome samples. Very, very happy.